Greetings, programs. Welcome to the grid. I am Sark, and we're back at our aircraft. My counterpart has convinced me that some sort of tongue and groove here may be ideal. Nothing too tricky of a shape for the printer, because I think fine details are going to be more trouble than they're worth. But if we have a little 45-degree here, that's not going to be a bad thing. So I've been eyeballing that in because I don't want it to be too awful precise. I'm afraid that if it were, things might get a little stuck. So I've been using these just canted at 45 degrees to sort of mark our angles on both sides, because the aircraft is not always as wide as it is tall. So we just use one of these in the front view and one of these in the top view, and you can see my most recent edits. So that's how we've been working, and then once I have them cut in, I usually pull them off a little bit and then do the next section based on the previous section, right? So this becomes my guide. We're gonna mark that orange. This so we'll just keep these two in. Hide unselected. Unselected, yeah. And we're ready to work on this next piece. So, perspective view. I'm still having to sort of eyeball these in. I would like to shell a distance of like 6. But I'm just going to hold the shift key and do like that. And that's how we're going to operate. So I come over here, I'll hit Alt X. I'm going to take my newly minted line and pull it in here. Yeah, and this is what I'm going to want to do for these ones, because I'm afraid that our windows are going to be too narrow or too close to that edge. So I'm actually going to make it thicker in here. I think that's what we want. Maybe this is too much, but my compatriot can correct me if he chooses. Then I will do it all again. We're trying to conserve print materials, obviously, and the printer will do a pretty good job of that if I just left this all solid on the inside. But I don't know. I think having it hollowed out is the wiser course. So even as thick as I'm making it, man, I have really, see, because we're eyeballing, maybe we can get away with this. I have been a little bit much on that, I think. Let's bring this here. I don't want it more than twice. And then, you know, I know what my perfect 45 is. I have that based on my other things, so I want this one to be a little wider here, I think. So that's the y-axis. I want to use my non-uniform scale, right click on it and say, okay, well, I really wish you were like 101. And that's maybe too much. So maybe 0.5. I think that's good. And now we're just going to do the same for this side. So I know that because of the aliasing, I know it's going in. And I had the other one going in, but I probably want this one not to be aliased at all. Yeah, that's more like. And that'll just give us some breathing room there if we've made any mistakes. Should be pretty easy to adjust along those lines. Now we'll just bring it down to the other end, right? No big deal. Just hold the shift key, drag it all the way down. And it'll probably be a little less exaggerated down this end because I think our plane gets thinner towards this side. That's okay too. Then we'll take like this. And let's take our reference cubes. Bring them back in here. Not too bad for eyeballing a 45-degree angle. One of the easier things for humans to identify pretty quickly. We make lots of things that are square. That means that we make lots of things that are diagonal to one another exactly, right? So we're used to seeing things that are man-made. Let's see. Yeah, I have no problem with that. So we're just gonna. I better to line it up over here though, right? Because that is not 45, and that's because our aircraft is not a perfect circle everywhere. In some places, it's kind of an oval. So this bit wants to scale in. 95. I mean, that's quite steep. But again, having any chance of interfering with our windows, and I think it's worth that extra plastic. So again, my counterpart may disagree. That would be unfortunate for me. So I've really got to try and make sure I'm guessing this correctly. But that looks like this one actually wants to come in even a little more. So '99's a bit extreme. Let's say 99.5. Yeah. I think that's just a little less than 45. Let's see. Yep. So that's really what we want. Let's just assume that I had the scale tool out when I did that. I think I did. I psyched myself out there a minute. Okay. We're going to plunk in our adjustments like we do. 2 segments, 70 degrees. That's been our plan all the way through. It's been pretty consistent for us. There are some minor variables in there, but in terms of the turn of the edge, it's not going to be very noticeable. Nobody should even be seeing that edge. It should be covered up by the outside of the aircraft. So really, hide unselected. This should all be academic in terms of our end result. That is to say, the precise turn of a 45-degree angle or something like that. All of that is going to be hidden in a pile of plastic and glue, we hope. with the outside looking nice and clean. Of course, I've got this mess. I'll just go ahead and cut it in. So I have like multiple edges here. No, we're okay. It's just a normal mess. So we did these once before, I think. No big deal. Ring. That. Grab this. Hit ring again. Plunk our loop in. This way. This way, ladies and gentlemen. Can't ever hear that without thinking of something really terrible. But that's the consequence of some experience as a history student. So see how bad our pinching on our window is. We expect a little bit of a pinch there. But it appears we get away with it. So all's well that ends well. No need to go around fixing things that need no fixing. Unhide all. Put these all in one shade of material so we can sort of judge them against each other. That's going to work nicely. If these get jammed together a little just because of that turn, that's going to be okay too. Let's just check this one a little bit, make sure I did the other side. Yeah, I did. Sorta. I didn't do that loop there, but I think that one's going to be okay. So, on we go. Hide unselected. We already have our curve from this one, so this becomes our reference. Our ordinary reference pair, as somebody funny once said. And in this case, I just want to be curving a little to the outside rather than to the inside, just so there's no chance of any intolerance there between the two pieces. That's quite clean. We'll take it. Alright, so zippity bop down to this side. Hide unselected for a moment. Do our 70-degree thing. Do our thing where we check our windows and or pay for the sins of them. Think they're okay. Do our thing where we plunk in the extra edge on this end, ring one on this side, there it is, and connect one edge, 50, 55. Oh, we gotta have this one. Let's see. Swift loop these in here. I hope I did this for the other one. I don't remember if I did it or not. Boy, that swift loop really doesn't want to take. It's probably just an ignore back-facing issue. It could be speed because I don't have anything selected at all. Maybe it doesn't care about ignore back-facing. Maybe it just hates me. I mean, it's not like we can't. Maybe with these selected. Oh, there, it'll swift loop nicer for me. Okay. Alright, and this should be like hand in glove. A nice clean fit. Even looks decent on the inside, so we'll go with that. Just check this one real quick. Hide unselected. Make sure I did our reinforcement edge. I think we did. Yeah, we did. So we're okay. Maybe a little looser here on this end than I was on the other. Oh, see, now look at this. This is me being sloppy. Remove. Something did feel a little wrong. Ring. Just got to make sure I get those edges that are not quadded off. Because even though they're not really causing any geometry problems for us, in the end, they are causing trouble with our selection of edges. So. Funny how those got sort of like un-auto-smoothed. It's not really relevant since we're throwing a turbo smooth on the end. But oh wait. Select by. All right, got our reference blocks back. One, did I tuck one under the wing? There we go. Hide unselected. Okay, hide this bit for now. Drag these down. Once again, make our adjustments. Make sure that's a true front view and not some false front view. Some almost front view, that would really mess you up. Okay. And these walls are much thicker than I originally had made them, but why am I doing them thicker? Because I'm afraid of any clipping or near clipping on the windows. So I just want to make sure that there's more than enough room for error on that front, right? Now there's very little chance of it. And they're still extruded in enough that they're going to have their clear delineation. So wanting to be a little wider. We're going to do that with our non-uniform scale and like 100 look at us. 102 is pretty good. Not perfect. Oh, this is with the... See, I gotta take the open subdiv. Okay. That's messing us up a little bit. I want it to again. It's more like it. 101.8. Again, I want it narrower, so 101.6. We're going to go with that. We know that it's just a little off. Perfect 45, a little on the inside. It definitely is on the top. Well, I say that. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, this corner is closer than that corner, so it's a little to the inside. Good enough. We really don't want to overdo that much. There's a part of me that wonders if I didn't just make them perfect 45, if that would be fine. And maybe I'm creating problems rather than solving them, but it doesn't hurt to anticipate a problem you think you might have and try and head it off. The worst thing you can do, or the worst thing can come of it, is that you end up having to sort of go back and pull back on your original plan. Go back to a simpler plan. That's easier than coming up with a more complicated solution because your plan was too simple to begin with, I guess. Or keep it simple, stupid. I don't know. Probably out clevering myself as usual because I'm not quite as clever as I think I am. Let's connect these. Two of them. 70 degrees. Okay. And close to the mark, plunk one in here, but we can't because it doesn't wanna. Our window issues. So this. Hit ring. Whoa. Still had our loop. Hit ring. That's what we want. Open the connect tool. One edge. Something 55. Looks okay. Our subdivision, consider 3 layers of open subdiv for our final result that will get baked in. Pretty clean, I think. Might be able to cut yourself on it, so just a little shy of that sharp, hopefully, when it prints out. And hide unselected. This bit's gonna be kind of funky at the back, but it should be easy up front. So take our reference bits again. Actually, we don't need them, right? We don't need them. We're using the other bit. So I don't know why I did that. Stick to the same methodology you've been using. So take this. That's fine. This one, make it bright. Again, it's not the brightest of oranges. I don't know why I chose that one. Maybe I'm just kind of feeling a little dull today. It's a little rainy outside. Take this one and just make sure maybe it leans outward a little. Right now it's leaning in. So yeah. Now it's more like closer to a perfect 45. I think it's leaning in still a little, but it's okay because our other piece does quite a bit. Uh-oh. What's going on down here? I mean, that is not 45. Mm-mm. Looks like we need our reference boxes after all. Check this one and make sure this one came out okay. Darn close, but we get away with it. Man, okay, so one of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not the same. Wonder if they can still do that on children's programming, or if that's somehow upsetting to somebody. Okay. We're gonna take unholy advantage of a free-form deformer, I think. we're gonna select like these edges. No. These edges. Like an FFD 2x2. No, on those edges. Not on all those edges. Why you lied? Can I do a volume select? That's a little much. Poly select. Of a poly select. Oh, I know why. I'm a dummy. Not those ones. How about now? Yes. Okay, so an FFD is in fact our friend under these circumstances. We can just go whoop. These bits are okay. So, seems to have resolved our issue. I don't know what was happening earlier. Probably because I was moving this. I probably jostled this into place with the move tool and not with the scale tool. That's probably how we ended up in that position. I better check this side. Okay. Ooh, not edible mesh. That's editable poly. Editable mesh is largely a legacy feature. It's almost never used anymore, except in certain special cases. So I don't know why it's still prominent in the selection menu after like 15 years of edit poly, but okay. Good enough, good enough. What else? Hide unselected. I mean, this is darned close. It's just a little too close is our problem. This one becomes the orange object, right? And we select this edge that we've created. Edge loop with the border select. It's easy to select because it's got no inside. And that's awfully close to the margin. So we say 101. Much safer there. Much safer there. We check it on this axis. And it's like way inside, right? That's the case down there too. So now we say like 5. 105 is probably a bit much. Yeah. 103. Still much. 102 is probably on the inside. Oh no, it's maybe right where I want to be. Right where I want to be. Beautiful. So, we'll take this, we'll hide it for now. We'll go over here, turn off our transparency with the Alt-X. Take this all the way inside, right? So, the trick with this one is I don't want to end up with like way more thickness than we need. There are hardly any windows on this one. Okay, something like that is probably fine. I'm just going to leave this N-gon back here. I'm not too worried about it. Do a couple flow connects maybe. They're kind of super funky. No reason for them. Just a basic connector through here, I think, should help this piece on the end not be horrible. Yeah, see, I don't want those like really weirdo shaped things. So let's see. Really doesn't like that. All right, so we can use our connect tool. And it's still funky in there, but I think it's just shadows. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. It's definitely the sausage part of the model. Nobody needs to see it being made. Nobody wants to know how it's made. Doesn't really matter. As long as the results are desirable. At least that's what Otto von Bismarck thinks. Okay. We'll do our cut here. One on the outside with our funky window issues as usual. And connect that up. There we are. Negative 55 does the trick for us. And let's see if we can have nice things. Are we allowed to have nice things? I mean, that's darn near razor sharp, but should plunk in okay. Yeah. So all that's going to work out. I've got a little work to do on the door and the glass, and then I will be getting at the wings and control surfaces and things as promised. It took me quite a bit more time than hoped or feared, but that's it for today. I don't want this one to run over long, and now we're, I think, set up for an easier gluing process. So good luck, have fun.